So here's everything for the wiring on the bike, except for the headlight that's downstairs. But here's the wire tap for the stator, and then here's a tap for a Milwaukee battery, and then another one just to hold as storage. I got my ignition for the bike with 2 keys, the turn signal relay, the Tech Vapor. It came with everything. This is for the backlight display. You just hook that up to the battery. Sensor for the speed. This is for the RPMs. You just wrap around the spark plug. Both turn signals. These are the front for the forks. These are the rear. I might switch these up in the future, but for right now I'm going to go with these. Tail light and the main wiring harness from Tusk. It's a universal, so everything's on here. I'm going to install this wiring harness on my bike. This way all the wires are ran from front to back and to my stator or battery, whatever I decide to go with. And it just comes with everything already on it. It comes with the leads for your battery. It comes with built-in fuse, and all the connectors are already on there for you. So it should be so much more simpler than me running my own wire. So this is how I ran the wiring harness. I just came up through the stock little bracket that they have right there. Went through there. Followed the clutch cable, came out under the gas tank, and came right up above the shock. In my subframe is my airbox with all this stuff. Gonna get mounted something like that. I might get rid of these things because I'm not a big fan of them. Perfect. That's gonna get mounted under here like that, so it scrapes that before my light. So I got this all mounted up. Turn signals I need to extend because they won't go all the way through, but the brake light, it goes all the way through, and I had to cut a little hole in my fender to run them wires into my airbox. Sweet. This blue and red wire go to the flasher relay. I have this flasher relay, which is adjustable. I'm gonna use these spade connectors to go onto the ends of them. So the plug that they gave me won't work, so I'm gonna cut these off. I have the turn signal relay mounted on there. This is the Tusk control switch. This plugs into there. I can't do this one-handed. It's gonna get mounted right there. I already have enough room. They give you these little rubber seal things, and they go right on the edge of this. So when it clamps down, it becomes waterproof. Got the left turn signal wired in right here. I need to still do the right one. I need to wire my headlight off of this. This is for the high beam and low beam, and then the neutral wire. I just got this in the mail today. This is horn. Just took out this radiator mount bolt. Doesn't matter which side these wires go into. They already have the connectors on it, so you just plug them into here. And one right there. That's it for that. Just the 2 wires go in there. Just make sure the forks don't hit on it, which we're all good. It clears. I should have got the Tusk taillight. This is an Acerbis or something like that, but I need to wire it in myself. If I would have got the Tusk one, it would have just clipped in right here for the taillight. But now I have to figure out the wiring for that. As I go along wiring everything, I'm just crossing it off, and I'm not using the front brake switch. So I won't be needing this wire right here. So I'm just gonna tie that up. I'm gonna try to get all the wiring done today. I need to figure out how I'm gonna be doing this battery, which I'm probably gonna mount on the underside of the seat like that. And then just plug in my battery from Milwaukee and power the whole wiring harness. So everything looks good there. I need to figure out where to mount this thing. I'm just gonna get tucked behind here. I don't know if I showed you. This is the headlight I'm using. So I'm gonna try to mount this in here like that in my front number plate. Finally got my headlight mounted. Looks so good. Turn signals didn't come with a wiring diagram, so I just got a 9-volt battery, put this little thing on, and used some leads to get power to it. So the blue wire powers this blue light on the back so people could see it from the front of the bike, and then the red wire powers the turn signal, which I didn't know they were like that. That's pretty awesome. So on all my connections, I'm soldering them, this electrical solder and soldering gun. And then I'm using these low heat solder connections. This is how I did this one. Put all that on. This way it's all waterproof and everything, and then I'm gonna put this over both of them. I know it's probably overkill, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. All right, as you guys can tell, the bike looks a lot different from the video before this. That's because all that footage got lost after that. So this is months later, and I'm gonna be finishing up this video on how I did the wiring harness. So first things first, I did the Milwaukee battery on the bottom of the seat, and it kind of goes out of the wires to this fuse, and I wired it to this switch, which goes to the battery. So now the battery's on, and to turn on the wiring harness, because if I hit the lights right now, nothing works. So I gotta hit this switch, turns on power to the wiring harness, and then I hit this switch and my headlight turns on. So this was just something that I wanted to try to do, just integrate it into the front plastic, which it didn't turn out how I wanted it to, so I'm gonna change that up. Another thing is the horn that I mounted down here. I guess from all the vibration, it snapped the mount, so I no longer have that on there. I need to find a better spot for it, probably behind here. Also, the turn signals are awesome. I really like the way these turned out. They're super bright. Front and rear work perfect. I'll show you the other side as well. And then this there. So also another thing is my brake light. It did work, but I cut this by accident and water got in there and it kind of fried everything out, you could see. But basically how that works is you put a pressure switch in where the banjo bolt would go, and as soon as you press the brakes, it completes the circuit and just turns on the rear light. And it usually stays lit, but like I said, water got in there and kind of messed that up. So I would recommend getting the Tusk wiring harness, the full complete kit, because when I first started this, I didn't use the Tusk taillight, but then I switched over to the Tusk taillight because it just plugs into the wiring harness, so I didn't need to do any guesswork. And then also the turn signals I needed to wire in, the headlight I needed to wire in myself, and the relay. I would change all of that and just go with all the Tusk stuff. This way just all clips right into the harness, and you would have no issues trying to figure all that stuff out. And then if something does break, you just unplug it and plug the new one back in. So that's what I would change about this setup. But the Milwaukee battery, this thing's great. This is a 5.0 battery, and this thing lasts me for like a week of riding before I need to charge it, especially since everything is all LED. It doesn't take a lot of draw. This video isn't too much of a tutorial, but maybe you could get some ideas off what you can do on your Supermoto. I did have this video recorded where it showed you everything to do, plugging all the harnesses in, how to wire it, stuff like that, but it all got deleted. So hopefully you can learn some stuff from this and get some ideas on what you want to do on your bike. And I still have yet to put on the Trail Tech. If you learned anything from this video, give it a like.